So Darwin said that organisms evolve over the period of time based on these five major things. Like in your syllabi, evolution is made evident or can be tested using these five major things, right? So he proposed these theories that organisms evolve over a period of time based on adaptation and there is survival of the fittest. So this was his major landmark, okay, in the theory of evolution that he made. What? That is survival of the fittest. So now, in layman terms, survival of the fittest means what? Do I need to go to the gym? Do I need to be a hunk to be fit? No, it doesn't exactly mean in terms of physiological evidences or physiological well-being, though that is not an excluded part, that is there of course. But your survival of the fittest means for the niche you stay in, for the ecological niche. You how good you are at coping with the environment, the harsh conditions, the availability of food, the surrounding enemies, the propensities to mate, finding a mate, because that is the ultimate goal. Like the organism will always pass on its progeny. It will have to breed and grow and give birth to offspring. So that was Darwin's theory, survival of the fittest. So when I say fittest, let us consider two niches. Okay, so one is your say desert, and the other is your rainforest. Two contrasting ideas, better to understand. So, what kind of life forms do you expect in the desert? What kind of plants? Majorly cacti. So, cacti, that is, and certain grasses, thorny shrubs, are all a part of the desert triad. When it comes to rainforest, you have everything over there, right from lichens to fungi, shrubs, herbs, small trees, large trees, canopy trees, whatnot. So the density as well as the variety in terms of quality, the types of species, and in terms of number, like if I say if I'm standing over here, okay, right. So I'm in the middle of the board. Now, how many more people could you accommodate in these board lengths? Imagine if so many teachers come and teach you, how will it look? So this is your density. So your per square kilometer, or sorry, per square meter density is what governs the biodiversity or the quantitative aspect of your biology. So in rainforest, you will have all the species of trees like large trees, small trees, shrubs, right? Mosses, lichens. So there is so much of competition. Do you see that? There are so many species, there are so many individuals of the species. Now, when we talk in terms of competition or survival of the fittest, it essentially does not only mean that I fight with a ape to eat the mangoes on the tree, or I fight with a orangutan to help me eat certain tubers, ground tubers. It is interspecific and it is intraspecific. So, interspecific is between two species which are similar, which actually compete for the same food source. So if imagine you were left, okay, in a small village with no aid, with no climbing aids, and there is just one mango tree which happens to be a food source. And then there is a school of monkeys over there, or a group of monkeys, sorry. So you would compete with them, right? Though initially you would fear them that they might hit us or we might end up in a fight, but when your survival mode is on, you will obviously go and venture out, do some adventures. So this is what is termed as inter-specific competition. And intra-specific competition is if along with you I leave your friend over there, then who will win? You will want to have the maximum number of mangoes and even he or she. So this becomes your intra-specific competition. So both of these act as driving forces for your Darwinian theory of survival of the fittest. So have you followed? So majorly this is interspecific and intraspecific also in terms of species I'm talking. So all of these led to this conceptualization of this theory which was given by Darwin, that there is survival of the fittest. But now there are certain limitations to the theory. What are they? Let us see. So what are the limitations of the Darwinian theory? The first one is that evolution is not the sole cause. The next is it doesn't explain the usefulness or the dysfunction or the uselessness of a given modification. And the third one is the evolutionary changes that occur in an organism, how fast or slow are they? And if they are slow or fast, what is the reason? It does not explain that. So there are no reasons. Abrupt means fast or sudden changes, abrupt or slow changes. Now, these are slightly philosophical concepts, class. Don't just jump upon them to understand. To earn and score marks in a paper, understand them slightly. Because for everything, there are evidences, but they might not be having solid proofs. Let me explain with the final reason or the limitation for it. So that I have stated that there are no reasons given by Darwin for the abrupt or slow changes. Now, how slow is slow and how fast is fast? Isn't that an interesting question? So now, if I walk from here to that end in 1 second, so I just have to stroll 1 feet over there. That is how fast I am. And if I walk very slow like this, okay. So this is slow. So now this is in the time frame of a few seconds of this lecture that you might be able to time. But here we are scaling it in years. Years, mind well, not a decade, not a century. It's 1 century or one era or one epoch, millions of years of time, right? So certain changes occur very fast and certain occur very slow. The best example for abrupt change is no, that is not a good example to give. So abrupt changes means whenever a change is sudden in terms of time. Now nobody clocked them. So for all the species that you see around, you cannot say what evolved when unless you see certain zoology or archaeological papers. That too putatively you can comment whether these changes occurred suddenly or they occurred gradually and eventually. So Darwin's theory does not give reasons why certain things go fast and why certain things go slow. Of course, changes are necessary. Evolution is necessary. It is happening. But how fast or slow it should be, who governs that? So this was something which was a lacunae in his theory. Then coming to the second one, it does not explain the usefulness or the non-use of a given modification. Now what do I mean by this? So he just made speculations or observations. So the giraffe has got a long neck. The Galapagos turtles live for 150 to 200 years. They are like 200 tons of mass. They're very huge, actually huge. So, and they live also long. But why do they live so long? Why not other species of turtles also survive that length of a lifetime? So, and the shells that evolved. They could have a crab-like carapace as well. They wanted protection, right? And they're so huge. They hardly have predators. Most of them are terrestrial forms. They are terrestrial. They only go to the aquatic bodies to cool themselves and shower and have some food or whatever. So majority of the time they spend on the territory. So then coming to abrupt changes, if they evolved a lifestyle which was more terrestrial than aquatic, what are the reasons for it? This is something which he did not state. Then coming to the longevity of these turtles, Galapagos turtles. Why do they live so long? What is the use? Are they of any benefit to other species? Is the mother earth blessed because they are surviving? Something of that sort. So these were slow changes. Then their carapace, which is like with this thing, almost like around 2-3 inches. Then why do they need to have such a hard and huge carapace? So this is something which he could not explain. He made speculation. Even in golden finches, they are songbirds, they are singing birds. But how do they evolve and develop those songs? Why are they learned by their offsprings? So these things to entirety he could not explain with his theories, or one cannot explain with his theories. Then coming to the first one is you might find this contradictory, but it is true. evolution is not the sole cause of your theory of evolution. Like the evidences that we saw, like 5 causes of evolution. So all those 5 causes are affecting and they will lead to evolution, but they are not the only things. Then you would ask me, sir, then what else is? What else is remaining? What is missing? So apart from that, you remember the central dogma in the evidence-based evolution theory. Nowhere have we considered the genome apart from the mutation aspect. So things likewise and so forth form a part of the other causes. Then there are certain epigenetic causes. Now this is a very common term for you. So epigenetic changes are also leading to evolution. Epigenetic changes means they are not hereditary. They will not be passed on. Now if I stay over here, for instance, for 10 more years, 20 more years, making such videos for you people out there. So I've been evolved in a certain way. The way I have my throw of voice, the way I carry myself, the way I dress, whatever. So this is a part of the epigenetic changes. But my offsprings might not have it. They might not be tutors as well, right? So evolution is not the sole cause, and this Darwin's theory cannot explain. So then we look up to Lamarck. So Lamarck was his contemporary, though he was older than Darwin. So this theory is more appropriate. Of course, this has also got limitations. But Lamarckism, essentially, if I put it in one word, is your need-based evolution. What do I mean by need-based evolution? Now, if I need to write on the board, for instance, I cannot be a crawling organism, right? I should stand on my feet, which I am. So I am evolved to do that. I am evolved to talk to you in English, to explain you science 2, this first chapter from TNYC. So this is a need-based thing. Please don't get confused with evolution. I'm just quoting an example. So the best example of Lamarck's theory can be given by the extension or the very long neck that giraffes have. Okay, this is a very classical example that is always given. So giraffes started grazing. They are relatives of the zebra, okay, from the horse family. So they started munching on leaves which were higher, higher and higher, and eventually they grow up to such staggering heights, maybe 10, 20 feet tall. Not 20 feet, around 10, 12 feet if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So their necks evolved based on the need because they wanted to reach the top branches, the apical branches, the canopy, which other species did not do. Now, why did they do this? You remember somewhere at some point of time I had told you about interspecific competition. So this was evolved and a positive effect of interspecific competition. You had zebras, you had buffaloes, you have so many gazelles, you have deers. All of them are the similar height, right? They have a range. So if they graze on the land, if they graze the grassland, shrubs, then you will be wiped off, right? And herbivores are always large in number. If you remember the life triangle, oxotrophs are always higher, followed by herbivores and then the carnivores or the apical or the terminal apex predators as we call them. So they evolved. Now all of them evolved. Is it like one or two giraffe species evolved? Individuals? No. The organism evolved to such an extent that it became a different species, which we now in today's world call them giraffes. Do you call a giraffe, some kind of giraffe a zebra? No. A zebra is a striped animal, right? You know it. So giraffe, evolution of this neck of a giraffe can be explained by Lamarckian theory of evolution, which states it is need-based. Desert plants, why do they have thorns? Because they want to prevent the evaporation that is caused due to the high temperature and the arid climate. So their leaves evolved into thorns. They lost their vegetative part and they became thorns. So thorns are modified leaves. Though on certain accounts, certain plants that we see, as you must have them at your home or you see them on the road dividers, all of them essentially are not a part of the cacti family. Some of them are in the sub-arid zone. So like you have got deserts, but deserts suddenly don't start. Like you have a desert-like area, a barren land. So there are some plants which remain in the buffer zone or the buffer area. They too have got thorns, but not as prominent as the cacti. So these two examples, if you remember, neck of the giraffe and a modification of leaves into thorns, this will help you explain the Lamarckian theory of evolution or Lamarckism as it is classically called. Then coming to our most last and important part of our chapter is speciation and human evolution. So speciation concept is, of course, evolution of a species. It will seem like a bit of iteration, but as I had just explained, let us presume that giraffes evolved from zebras or some form of horses, the horse family. So speciation is what? Again the same. So you had an ancestor just as humans had apes, and then you evolved from them. So in your textbook, if you see, there is a beautiful illustration shown in your SSC textbooks how we evolved from lemurs. There are like around 7 to 8 human forms that are shown. Why am I calling them human forms? Because they are humans, but the earlier ones are not humans. They were lemurs, then you had the Egyptian version of it, then you have all until the recent times we had what these ape-like features. You know, a lot of body hair, a stub nose, strong limbs, bare hands. But eventually all of which are reducing. Do you see humans having so much of body hair? Like leave apart the genetics. Some of them are hairy, some of them are not. But that is a part of genetics because probably their parents, which comes from the Y aspect of chromosome, so they will have little bit more body hair as compared to others, and some of them you see they will be completely hairless or very less sparsely hair. So that is a part of their heredity. But otherwise, tell me if you have seen a human who looks like a chimpanzee with all the body hair right from your cheeks to your toe tips. Nobody, right? So we have evolved. This is what you call as evolution. So humans have evolved from small ape species like say lemurs to apes, chimpanzees, and that is why a large proportion of our DNA or the genome bears similarity with such apes. So when you talk in terms of chimpanzees or gorillas for that matter, literally we have got a genome. Genome means over here whenever I say genome, it means the DNA. Okay, get it clear. So 98% similarity. Imagine class. We are 98% similar to gorillas. The 2% difference makes me stand here and them in the forest. Right? So that is the wonder of evolution. So less and subtle changes make up to great differences. And all of them have evolved. So the current species, like if I was to classify myself according to the binomial nomenclature, it is what? It is Homo sapiens sapiens. So you have got the species and the subspecies. So both of them are sapiens, the most advanced form that we have. 100 million years down the line, there will be a different species. We will be outdated probably. Alright. So that is what accounts for evolution. Initially, before this, the most recent we had was the Neanderthal man, which was very human-like, a human-like man form or an ape-like man form. They too had body hair, but these ape-like features had started reducing. Now, what do I mean by ape-like features? Loss of a tail. We have lost the tails, so they lost tails. Body hair reduced. The external pinnas became smaller because we did not hear the dangers. We don't stay in a forest. Our noses were not stubbed like they had. We evolved noses in a different way. So all of these factors contributed towards humans be becoming Homo sapiens. Fine. Have you followed? Well done. So these are your 6 major things to be studied in this first chapter. I hope by now your concepts about Darwinism and Lamarckism are clear. And please get things right. Don't mix the two. As I gave in one line, your Lamarckian theory is your need-based evolution. Darwinism concept is your survival of the fittest. And what are the limitations of the Darwin theory are enlisted on the board. And human evolution is again a very favorite topic, how humans evolved from apes and lemurs as the putative ancestor that is given in your textbooks. So this is also an important concept. So I hope with this you must have enjoyed learning the first chapter of biology. See you for the next time. Bye bye.